So I'm really confused by by council's access to staff. There was a directive from Council President Goodnow that the only staff that council members can speak directly to are Kylie Fennell, Lori Smith, and Christine Grenier. When Jen Reblowski was testifying last week, I realized that's right. I used to speak to Shane and Dave and even Director Nucky. I used to speak to people at every department when I was a private citizen, and everyone considered it part of their job to respond to the public. It's just, that's their job. And now, by a mechanism that's not clear to me, as someone representing a big chunk of the public, I can only speak to council staff and to the city attorney. I don't understand that. And I'm not hiding some secret thing that I'm thinking. I just don't understand it. I'm hoping someone can explain it.
Well, I can tell you that I didn't tell you couldn't speak to anybody, but I have said that our staff who reports to us, who are in our, sort of lack of better words, department, are the three that you mentioned. And then I have always either talked to directors or try to CC the mayor on a message to the director. But we have access to them sort of, I would say, it's oh, the term's not going to me, but you know, it is sort of a privilege to be able to maybe have more direct access to staff. But I will say that this council has tasked staff more than any council in recent history. And so if we're getting any pushback from administration, and it's their prerogative to set these kind of communication things. And I think things are trending better, but I feel like we're behind the curve on getting our act together. Again, we're supposed to be, as far as the city is concerned, we are a body. We are we come together, and then we can ask the administration to do things in that kind of respect. Jennifer, did you want to add? I saw your hand was up.
Yeah. I think that just as somebody who I don't ask administration a lot very often, personally. I don't send a lot of emails. I don't make a lot of requests. And I think that it's really frustrating to know that my simple requests are sort of being pushed back on by administration because they are overwhelmed by the sheer amount of emails and requests that they are getting. And so they have to manage their time efficiently. I would like to be able to talk to staff again and to invite them to meetings and things like that. But there is something occurring within this council. There is some amount of work that's being given to the administration, a lot of work, where they don't feel like they can give us as a whole body additional time. It's been described to me that hundreds and hundreds of staff hours are being devoted to council. And so for me, just to have some simple kind of requests and meeting requests and information that I'm not able to obtain from directors because they're being told or they're choosing to manage their time differently. It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating for me. As somebody who, you know, who doesn't make a lot of asks. So it's just something that I had to share, and I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. It's frustrating for me.
It's frustrating. Denise, I'm just going to speak really briefly. Is that okay?
Should you defer to the council president for who speaks next?
Go ahead, Anna.
Denise, thanks. Denise seems to be frozen again. Shoot. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Jennifer, on that one. So just due respect, Council President, those are exactly your words they're on the last page of Appendix A to the Sustainability Committee memo. That you directed us that these were the only staff to whom we could speak. And so I'm just saying.
Okay, I'll stand by it then. Administration has definitely asked that we go through the mayor's office with things. Okay, so this is not random. This is because of the volume of requests coming from our department. And again, the staff, I will say that these things have happened over the years in different cycles. It tightens up and sometimes it loosens up, but we have sort of, our behavior has caused us to maybe lose some of the free access we've enjoyed. Anna?
Okay, well, still not fully understanding this, because as a private citizen, whenever staff was like, I've got to go do something else, they would just say, I got to go do something else, or I don't have time for this, or it's going to be a month before I can get back to you. And I just went, okay. So I don't understand why.
Anna, we have been told as a body that they're busy and they don't have time for this.
They don't have time to represent the people of Bremerton.
It's your job.
And I'm going to do that job without information necessary to do my job.
There's no limited access to information. You just need to go through the mayor's office.
Is this a directive from the mayor that everything needs to go through the mayor's office?
It is a request.
I see other hands are up.
Jennifer.
The last thing we want is a directive from the mayor. What we're following is a friendly request right now, Anna. We are no longer private citizens. We are an operating group. We are a department, like Michael said. So we need to respect this, or it's going to get to a point where there is a directive. We want collaboration. We want to have this access again. But what's happening is there's too much staff time being taken by council. There's just too much staff time being taken for council. And complaints.
All right, anything else for the good of the order?
I saw Denise, looks like she's in and out. I don't know, Denise, you had something to say earlier. I know you're having connection problems.
Denise?
My internet is spotty, so.
Oh. I don't know if you can hear us, Denise. Sometimes if you turn off your video, it can help your bandwidth a little bit. All right. Anna, you got something else?
Yes. We are some of our goals and priorities are to, let's just take an example, to encourage opportunities for environmental stewardship. Let's move on to one that is less controversial. To encourage community engagement. I don't know any mechanism by which we can work on achieving that goal except through a committee. And to my knowledge, there is no committee that has that as its purview. So I am wondering what mechanism exists outside the committee structure to achieve those goals and priorities that are not immediately and clearly linked to a committee.
Yeah, the entire council.
Can you tell me what is the mechanism to get that in front of the entire council?
What to get what in front of the entire council?
Specific suggestions for increasing community engagement, for example.
You know, typically we establish our goals, but they're also to help the administration to understand what we consider a priority. So most things are probably going to come from the administration side. And then as we look at things, we can make changes. And we can make changes to more closely follow what we've established as goals. And we can bring things up. I feel like this is a roundabout question about the thing that has put the most time on myself and a few staff members. That I feel like the council has given us clear guidance that they would not like to move forward with.
No, it's really exactly what it is, Michael. I'm asking, how do we bring up methods by which we can increase community engagement, which is one of our goals, just moving on. And I'm asking, how do we do that? Because I don't know.
I will work on getting some more information out there so that everybody understands the process and how we work together as a body. I've, again, like I just said, typically when things come in front of us, we look to our goals and say, hey, this is new affordable housing, it meets that goal. Or you know, or hey, do we need to be looking through at this with a race equity lens? We look at the stuff coming in front of us and sort of wash it with our goals and our priorities. Aside from that, we can create. We can throw an idea out. And it's fairly rare, but we can throw an idea out, and if there's good consensus, we'll move forward with it, and you know, do the research and put together an agenda bill, and get input on it, and move it forward.
Thank you.
Jennifer?
I just wanted clarification about clearer communication from who? Anna. This was directed to Anna. Clearer communication by whom?
One moment while I call up the goals and priorities that we established, that, you know, that we met about on June 11th.
I guess I mean, it was a pretty clear question. What was your, who do we need to be communicating clear with?
I
And you're talking
Okay,
about
do you-
council, right?
Do you
I
want
just
the
wanna-
exact wording, Jennifer? Or is a paraphrase good enough?
You mean from the goals and procedures? No, I mean,
From
I
the
just
goals
want.
and priorities, yeah. Is a paraphrase
goals and
okay by you?
priorities. I was just
Yeah.
asking you specifically who council needs to be this is an authentic question. This is maybe an
I
authentic.
understand. And if you don't need the
Who-
exact wording, I'll give you the paraphrase.
No, I don't
which-
need the paraphrase from the goals and
Then
priorities. I just wanted to ask you who we need to be, like, who is our audience that we need to be better communicating with, like as council?
One of the goals and priorities is to increase community engagement,
Okay,
right? So those would be increasing opportunities for public input, making sure that public input was meaningful. These would be some specific suggestions towards that. Is that answering your question?
yeah, I mean, I like where you're going
Great.
with it. I like
Yeah,
it
that's-
because here's the deal, like we have very few opportunities for participatory democracy, right? So how do we, like, Denise and Jeff are thinking we need to have in-person meetings again, like that's another way to engage people. Like, let's keep the hybrid model so people can still attend by Zoom, like that would be another way to engage the public, right? Is that kind of where you're going? Like, how do we move forward some of these things so that as many people as possible, like getting the thing it gets problematic, I think, is like the public notices for public hearings, how are they going out in the community? Is that something else you're concerned about, things like that?
Specifically, the things I'm concerned about were part of my submittal to the goals of priorities that I sent out, I think, June 1st.
Okay.
And I don't have them under my hand, but I believe they included improving the city's website so that when you land on the homepage, you know how to complain effectively and to whom you complain effectively. You understand that when the Bremerton One app says this is for convenience only, it's not official, that it is nonetheless official. Something that would explain all of that, something that would show people how to follow up, something that would bring up a consideration that a couple of councilors have brought up, which is we have public input, we have public hearings on everything, but any audit on how influential such public input is has not been clear to the members of this council.
Okay.
There are possibilities to restrict comment on Bremerton only items to people who live in Bremerton. Quite a few meetings have the capacity to take down somebody's name and address. If you want to comment on something in Bremerton, just give us your name and address and go. That would be one thing for us to consider. There's a number of things I considered that I brought up and was really hoping to discuss with the full council
Okay.
at the retreat, but it was summarily adjourned. So-
Luckily, the next retreat is not far around the corner, is it? Where it's already August, so we just got a few more months. So I like the idea of just continuing to talk about how do we engage people, but we can only really do it through our city council meetings, right? Like the website and Bremerton One app, that's administration. That's not really our purview. We can't do anything. That's not our staff. We can't tell them what to do, but we can modify things within our own meeting and we can use our platform. Am I wrong in that assumption?
I feel like I've been treated dismissively enough times in this meeting, so I don't think you're doing it right now, but I just feel like it's better for me to just shut up at this point. So I'm going to do that.
I'm sorry. I meant, no disrespect. I was trying to
No,
engage.
that's what I just said.
Okay. All right.
Anything else? I did want to mention that Quinn sent his regrets. He got a flight delay, so he was